Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Good on you for standing your ground, OP, and having evidence to back up your talents and manager's idiocy. While reading your story, I was surprised you didn't spend your month-long vacation looking for a new job. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. New boss gives angry me an impossible task. I used to work for a big IT consulting company notorious for not paying overtime. I worked for a client's migration project for almost 1.5 years, leading the functional migration team. The three of us worked for the client 3 years before the start of the migration project, so we knew the data we had to migrate, all the nuances, and 2 weeks before the migration date, 99% of the data was already migrated and validated. We only did the day-by-day new data and sag off pretty much those 2 last weeks. Other manager that outranked me became extremely angry about our calmness because the part she led was behind schedule due to bad scheduling, and everyone was being overworked because of her mishaps. Come migration date, Saturday starting 9 a.m., everyone was expecting long hours of work, but we clocked out at noon with the data validated with the client and the go-ahead signed, sealed, and delivered. My team got a written commendation from the client. The manager's team spent the entire weekend there. She got a complaint letter from the client. The manager complained about us and made me and my senior analyst spend the next month waiting for incidences, bugs, and complaints. We got 5 in the whole month. My senior analyst spent 8 hours a day studying a new language. I took the chance to update my CV, I wanted out, and pretty much help a couple former colleagues that needed to solve bugs and problems within the manager's team responsibilities. A couple weeks later, evaluation time. At the IT company, everyone was graded A to D. A being exceeding expectations, D being you're out of here, B was good, C was pretty much, I'm starting to think you might not be good to work here. Given the commendation from the client, I was expecting an A. My evaluation was done by the manager and my mentor, close friend with the manager. They gave me a C because we didn't see any pressure on your work and you certainly lack motivation. I complained and took a long overdue, already planned month-long vacation. This was June. After that, back at work, I was assigned to a project on another client led by manager's husband. He wanted me to prepare 122 integrations with different systems in 4 months. I told him that in the previous project, led by his wife, it took 2 years to have 12 integrations ready, but I'd give it a shot. I even emailed him the planning where it clearly showed the time they took. 2 of those months were July and August, months where pretty much everyone on the client goes on holiday. Manager and wife also went on holiday pretty much all August. I spent those 2 months chasing people around the client's office, but starting September 6th, integrations were closed and 6 more were almost closed pending validation. Manager came back from holiday and was furious. He called me a slacker and started telling me that his wife was right, that I lacked motivation, and that I would need to spend the rest of the project duration working till midnight to make up for lost time. And I said, "No, I won't do an hour more than what you're paying. I told you that your expectations were unrealistic, and you went ahead with them anyway." He went ballistic. I replied, "I just lack motivation to work on your project." I want out of the project. I was out of the project in no time. I got a call from my mentor. She said that they were evaluating firing me without pay because of this. I told them about the unrealistic planning. She said that I was being unrealistic and that the planning was good. I produced the email I sent the manager. My mentor went quiet. A minute later, she told me, "What do you want?" If you can't guarantee I won't do an hour of overtime ever again, I want out, full severance, and then some. And I want the company to make it look like I quit, not that you fired me. She went quiet again. She said she'll see what she could do. I was out of there, smiling by the end of the day. P.S. From the team that remained in the project, 4 guys were on my team before the migration project. They all complained. They all got out of the project as well. PS2. AFAIK, the project took twice the expected time to be completed. Manager's husband got nearly fired. Wife held a lot of power and managed to save his butt. And our second story. got slightly mishandled for not helping. Background. Well, my little brother, LB, is spitting image of myself, big brother, BB. However, I'm only very, very slightly shorter than him, being my 5'8" to his 6'6". Seriously, you can't tell us apart. I moved out of our little town community for university, and LB is not yet. He plays for the local rugby club and is quite good, apparently. To save up for uni, he's passed a security check thingamagic to allow him to work as a bouncer/door staff for a number of local establishments. Now, while I'm far better looking and more intelligent than my brother, although I tend not to notice the little things about us that other people might pick up on, however, if you're very, very close up and paying attention, you may just glimpse the almost insignificant detail that eludes most people on an average cursory scan. I'm about 78 kilos and my brother's around 145 kilos. The likeness is uncanny. Think Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger in twins, almost identical in every way I think you'll find. Well, we went to the local supermarket for supplies on my last home visit, read beer. I'm driving, but little brother's not, and has found a can of lager in my camper van fridge. I swear he can smell it. On arrival at the supermarket, he finds the head, and I go to the beer aisle for supplies. The beer on a good offer is piled high on a rack, but several of the cases are damaged, so I start removing the damaged cases and placing them on the floor while putting the good crates in my trolley. Now, I've worked in retail for many years, but I no longer do. However, old habits still remain, as you all know. So I'm on my knees at this point as "Who's your manager" haircut Karen prods me on the shoulder and states she cannot find something. I suggest looking further down the aisle and continue my hunt for undamaged cases. Again, I'm verbally accosted, to which I think I just grunted something about looking with your eyes, but Karen's seriously pissing me off. Years of retail has prepared me for this, and I try and suggest perhaps it might be on the bay above. Now within 30 seconds, or enough time that she didn't even effing look, I get a slap on the back of the head stating I need to get the F up and fetch her stuff for her. My WTF was loud enough for Kevin to enter the conversation. Karen's husband, Kevin, grabs me by the shoulder and pushes me against the rack and starts shouting and spitting in my face about treating his wife with respect and that staff should learn their effing place. There was a rant about staff and respect and managers and maybe something to do with fairies. At this point, I'm no longer listening and don't care. Some rando's spitting in my face. LB's now heading up the aisle to find me, BB, to see me being assaulted by Kevin. LB now proceeds to pick up Kevin by the throat and lift him up against the aisle wall. Kevin is now screaming about being assaulted, and Karen's now screaming in general. LB turns to her and screams back in her face to back the F up. He's nothing but succinct. Now, we're in the UK, and I'm quite sure this is now bordering assault charges, but LB, who has the same short fuse as I have, thanks Dad, has taken over, and while I have the right to stay silent, but I don't have the ability nor the common sense to, LB, on the other hand, has the physical ability to do what I'm thinking. Picking up said Kevin by the throat, LB proceeds to raise him off the ground by about a foot. The little feet wiggle portrayed in movies is in full effect. Karen screams at LB while running to Kevin's aid, and he simply turns to her and barks back at her again, "Back the F up, B, right now," which seems to have right reaction, and she freezes to the spot. At this point, the supermarket security and several staff start pouring in. Then, nonchalantly, LB exchanges polite hellos to several of the security staff as they also play on the said local rugby team. He still has FB by the throat at this point. LB loudly states, "This effing P just assaulted my BB on behalf of this effing CB, and as this effing CB hasn't apologized to my BB, I think you should arrest her." For those outside of the UK, this is very similar to a prose from Shakespeare. Also to note is that a supermarket security guard has little or no power whatsoever, never mind the ability to either arrest anyone or handle what's now spiraling into a major cluster F. Karen's now on her knees, breaking down in tears. Kevin's now turning a lush shade of purple. Multiple to noise relaying to shoppers this aisle is now closed and apologizes for the inconvenience. We're in England after all. I'm now in utter disbelief at this point, as I have now somehow ended up as the sane one in this situation, and also as a hostage negotiator to LB. LB won't release Kevin until I get an apology to myself. However, Karen's on her knees in tears. Kevin struggled once in defiance, and LB simply crushed his larynx with his pinky. This is not ending well. Time seems to have stopped now. The security staff point out to Kevin that they have the security tape showing that Kevin assaulted me first, and BB only apprehended Kevin while he tried to assist me, and if he'd like to call the police at this point, they will all be witnesses to that fact. I doubt any of this bullcrap was the case, but they all sided with LB. Karen mumbles something that's close to an apology, which I loudly declare that I accept. On the escorted exit of the store, Karen and Kevin were told explicitly by security that neither of the two gentlemen involved in the incident actually work for the store, and if you assault one of our patrons, you will be asked to leave the store and not return. You will now consider yourselves permanently banned. Now, I have no idea if this was their local store they just got banned from, but I effing hope so, because if they live in our local area, they are effed, because it's literally effing miles to the next local supermarket, and which is very pricey. And our last story. HOA Too Incompetent to open our pool. We were told 5 days before Memorial Day, told May 25th, that our pool had issues preventing it from being opened. We've known about these issues for years, but that's the excuse they used. So we fixed that. Then they say our pump motherboard is bad and the only ones that fit our machine are custom ordered from Ukraine, so we buy a whole new pump and have it installed, estimate of 7 to 10 days. Fast forward to June 28th and we properly fill and begin balancing the pool. Only a month missing from the season. Cool. No, it took until July 21st to finally hear that the pool has been balanced, but in the meantime, our fob system has been fried and cannot be fixed until next week. Several neighbors volunteered to act as security since we have non-fob key gates on our fence, so all they need to do is open the gate and we'll handle it. Took 2 days for the board to reply, and their statement as of this morning is that the pool is not currently balanced, despite it being under contract with the pool company and being treated since June 28th, all without a single swimmer entering the water. I'm so effing mad at these idiots right now. It's hot AF, and we've spent thousands on a pool we haven't been able to use at all with only 6 weeks left in the season. The board wonders why I sent a letter demanding our useless president resign. We got the secretary booted and replaced last annual meeting. 3 more to go, and we'll be rid of the Karen board. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.